Hey guys, before you watch this video, this only goes over a very small portion of the movies that I actually did watch this year. So, if you want to view the full ranked list, there will be a link to my Letterboxd account where you can view it. All 260 movies are on there. Enjoy. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Arcanized, and it is the end of 2020. A pretty crappy year that we got through together, and one thing that really helped me get through it was film and watching a ton of new movies this year that I had never seen before, and this video is going to be kind of the payoff of that on my channel. I am going to go through all of the highlights and lowlights of the 261 films that I watched in 2020. I'm sure I'm never gonna pass that for at least a couple years, because wow, that was a lot this year. But I'm definitely glad I did it, and I'm excited because I get to make this video. So I'm gonna go through and kind of award different movies for certain aspects, and we will have just the favorite movie that I watched this year. Keep in mind, these are old films. These are new films. It should be a really fun time. Let's get started. So, first up, I want to shout out one of my favorite aspects of filmmaking, which is cinematography, the camera work of a movie. So, I'm going to list a couple movies I watched this year that had jaw-dropping cinematography that really impressed me. First up, I want to mention 1917. It's a one-take film that's just unheard of, and it was so cool how they did it, how they pulled it off. You watch the behind the scenes. It is awesome, and it looked great. Then, There Will Be Blood. This is a film that used its cinematography to keep you interested in the movie because it is quite long, and it had to be very particular with its shot selection, and I think they do great work with that cinematography, and it did win the Oscar for it. But my favorite cinematography of the year has got to be Life of Pi. I mean, that movie is just beautiful. Every shot, whether you're talking about seeing the boat sink under the water or the sunrise shots out on the ocean, or even the ones with the whale swimming around the boat. Oh my god, the island at the end, everything looks so incredibly wonderful, and it fills me with joy that I get to watch that movie again sometime and revisit that cinematography. So shout out to Life of Pi. Now I want to go over what I think are some of the most surprising films that I watched this year. These are movies that maybe didn't have the best reviews or didn't look as interesting to me, but I watched them and I really enjoyed them. First one I gotta point out is Blindspotting. This movie did not look interesting to me at all, but I watched it for Daveed Diggs, and it became just one of my favorite films that I saw this year. It winded up at number 31 out of over 250. So it was just so unique and funny, but also heart-wrenching, and I loved it. Then I do want to point out Peanut Butter Falcon. Now, this movie also got good reviews, but I would have never thought that I'd love it as much as I did. This movie was just an incredibly good time. That's what it was. Then, another one I do have to point out 100% is Safety Not Guaranteed. I had never heard of it, and it ended up being really enjoyable to me. And I don't really know why that is. It's quite a unique plot, and I always liked journalism, which this movie kind of focuses on a little bit. And so I really connected to it and just thought it was great. But I was like, what is this? It's an indie film, but it hit me pretty hard. So those would be some of the surprises that I got this year. Alright, before we get into some big stuff like the best performances I saw this year and the best movie that I watched all year, we do have to go over the opposite end. The movies I saw this year that just weren't it. And sadly, a lot of them were 2020 releases. So, first up, We Just Shark may be the best movie I've ever watched. Not actually. Do not ever put it on unless you are with all of your friends and probably intoxicated. 365 Days. Not good. Not good. Then we have Artemis Fowl. Disney, what are you doing? Like, at least give... Come on, give the fans something. Something more than that, man. 47 Meters Down Uncaged, the sequel to 47 Meters Down, which I actually really like. I think that's a very good shark movie. The sequel, however, was not the move. Capone with Tom Hardy, who is great, just didn't hit right. I don't know. It was very boring and uninteresting. So I had to put it towards the bottom half. Animal Crackers, if it wasn't for the zucchini, it would probably be last. But zucchini is my favorite character I watched all year, so keep that in mind. But there were, as much as I watched a lot of great movies, there were some stinkers as well. But let's get into those awesome films once again. Covering a couple more subcategories, I want to go over Best Music and Score. A couple movies that just killed it with their music, with their scores. First up, La La Land. It's a musical, and it has great choices all across the board. La La Land has fantastic music. BlacKkKlansman has one of my new favorite film scores. I think the guitar-piano mix is so great, and we don't see a lot of film scores that use guitar anymore because it's thought of as, I don't know, kind of just edgy, and it's not really used. And so I really appreciated what BlacKkKlansman did with its music. Inception has a great Hans Zimmer score, and it's clear. I mean, I love that score. And another one that maybe people don't notice as much in this film just because of how good everything else is, but No Country for Old Men uses its scoring so well because it doesn't use music when it maybe should, and it actually makes the film better. And so I want to mention that for No Country for Old Men. What a great movie that was. But now we're gonna get into performances. Pretty much make or break a film. If you have bad performances, it's hard to have a great movie. And Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler was the exact opposite of a bad performance. Portraying a sociopath to perfection. This is a dude that does not care who he hurts or what he has to do to achieve his roles, and Jake perfected that role. It's a character you don't see a lot of, and he went to a place that I haven't seen many actors go to for that role. Then, I do want to mention Joaquin Phoenix in The Master. I didn't love The Master. I think it's very boring, but Joaquin Phoenix in that film is absolutely jaw-dropping. He is incredible, and I loved him so much in there. Then Amy Adams in Arrival was fantastic. The twist at the end when she really had to get emotional. She nails it. Then I do want to mention Toni Collette for Hereditary, another movie I didn't love, but can admit that Toni was awesome in it. But my favorite performance of the year was not even J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, even though he is phenomenal. Oh my god. It is Daniel Day-Lewis for There Will Be Blood. His performance did win an Oscar, and that I Drink Your Milkshake scene is some of the best acting, maybe the best acting I have ever seen. Please go and experience it for yourself. There Will Be Blood. Daniel Day-Lewis is simply one of the greatest of all time, and from what I've seen, this is his best performance. So, there we go. Performance is down. Alright, now, it was a tremendous year of movie watching, but only 4 films for me claimed that coveted 10 out of 10 rating. Perfect films in my eyes, and these are those 4. Number 4 was Pulp Fiction. Finally got a chance to check it out. Quentin Tarantino defying all laws of storytelling and making it work tremendously. This movie meshes everything together so well to make the classic that it is revered as. Number 3, a movie I wouldn't expect to have gotten 5 stars, Her, with Joaquin Phoenix. It's a concept that should not work, but it works on every level. It is one of the most visually appealing movies I have ever seen. The color scheme is so wonderful. The semi-futuristic world looks great, and Scarlett Johansson's voice is so soothing. And it is a great romance between Joaquin Phoenix and an AI, and it's so heartfelt, and it really makes you care when you absolutely shouldn't. So it was my number 3 of the year. Number 2, the second oldest movie that I watched this year was 12 Angry Men. And 12 Angry Men is the best screenplay that I have ever seen put to film, because it is 12 dudes sitting in a room, one room, and talking for an hour and 40 minutes, and it's my number 2 of the year. Best screenplay I've ever seen. Great performances. Henry Fonda is excellent. He's so assured in his role, and he makes that whole film just run. And it is extraordinary. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Definitely the best classic era movie that I've watched. But it did not beat The Shawshank Redemption. Now, this is interesting because Shawshank is not number 1 for me in any, real, total singular aspect. But it puts itself together as a whole to be one of the best movies that I have ever seen in my life. It is so uplifting and so satisfying to see these characters' journeys. Andy coming to Shawshank, and at the end escaping. Red being there throughout the whole thing. Morgan Freeman is a god. And it's just a complete film. There's no aspect in that movie that doesn't work. And that is why it lands itself at number 1. I can't believe I watched a movie as good as that this year. So that is going to be it. My year of movie watching in review. 261 films. That's a lot. I'm never gonna get there again, probably. Maybe, we'll see. But let me know some of the highlights of your year, and I will see you guys next year. See ya. Peace.